The rodeo, an exhibition of cattle ranching that dates back to the 1850s in America. It's a dangerous sport where man and beast compete head-to-head with no fear. With all the excitement, glamour, and patriotism, the rodeo could not be a rodeo without the cowboy.
The purpose of the Southeastern Rodeo Association is to preserve the heritage of the black cowboy.
The Southeastern Rodeo Association assures that all Americans know that the black cowboy and girl still exist. They are performing, competing, and winning. Walter Hull is the rodeo's producer and a cowboy himself.
He wanted to try and do something to preserve the black cowboy.
The Old West depicts a homogeneous imagery with husky white men riding into the sunset with their bandanas tied around their neck and lassos swinging overhead. But the West was much to the contrary.
The people that were taking care of the cattle were the African Americans and the Hispanic and Mexican charros. Those were the people that really had the best skill with livestock.
According to legend, the word cowboy was a derogatory term used to describe the black cowhand. Black men were often referred to as boy by whites, regardless of age.
Their trade was dealing with cattle, herding cattle, nursing cattle, moving cattle, taking care of cattle.
The Federation of Black Cowboys says during the glory days of the Western frontier in the 1870s and 80s, 25% of an approximate 35,000 cowboys were black, a fact largely ignored by publications, history books, and Hollywood.
You watch TV, you see Roy Rogers and all those guys, but you never really see much about the black cowboy. So that's the one thing that a lot of people don't know. There's a lot of history on the black cowboy.
Bass Reeves, a 19th century Arkansas runaway slave, became a legendary deputy U.S. Marshal. The 6'2" mustachioed muscle man captured more than 3,000 criminals while in disguise to fool felons. His ace detective skills, super strength, and supreme horsemanship is believed to be the inspiration behind one of America's most beloved fictional characters, the Lone Ranger. Art Burton wrote a book about Bass Reeves. In his book, he points out similarities such as their gray horses, the use of Native American trackers,
Me not understand, Kimusabi.
and unusual calling cards. Reeves gave folks a silver dollar to remember him by, while the Lone Ranger left silver bullets. There would probably not be steer wrestling in the American rodeo if it were not for a black cowboy from Texas.
His name was Bill Pickett. And that event that he originated is called bulldogging or steer wrestling.
Pickett stood 5'2" and weighed 145 pounds. Many of the animals he wrestled outweighed him by 1,000 to 1,200 pounds.
One time a steer broke away from the herd and he didn't have a rope with him. So he rode his horse as fast as he could, caught up with the steer, jumped off his horse, grabbed the steer, wrestled him to the ground, bit his lip with his teeth, and fell back and threw the steer down where the other guys could come and get him.
Pickett single-handedly pioneered the art of steer wrestling. He received sensational national and international publicity. During his career, he made 2 short film documentaries and traveled for many years performing with the famous 101 Ranch, a Wild West exhibition. Unfortunately, the lifestyle that made him famous ended his life. Pickett died from a traumatic brain injury after being kicked in the head by a horse. In 1971, he was inducted into the National Cowboy Hall of Fame. Most rodeo historians agree that no single performer contributed more to the complicated series of rodeo events than did Pickett with his bulldogging techniques. The black cowboy will always stay alive through the Southeastern Rodeo Association.
The goal is to make sure that we drive and educate people on the importance of the black cowboy that helped tame the Old West.
Every child should know their background. Every child should know what their ancestors brought to the table. Every child should be able to feel good about being whom they are. It doesn't really matter what people say, it's what you know to be true. And if you know the truth, then you're gonna be okay.